Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King, and this is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy that you decided to join us today. And Alex has been kind of on extended leave lately dealing with stuff, but she's back. Her smile is back. The only thing that's missing is the unicorn headphones. They'll probably appear at some point, but
I'm getting new equipment, so that's they'll come back then.
you're getting new equipment. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, hey, it's great to have you back with or without them.
Well,
So I
thank
just
you.
wanted to tell you that. Yeah.
Glad to be
I
back.
mean, the only bad part is that Dan can't join us today, so the three still aren't together yet, but
Yeah,
we're getting closer. You kind of have it's micro shifting, right? Just taking one little step at a time.
yeah. You only got two out of the three Stooges. That's the problem.
That's right. Yeah. I still haven't figured out whether I'm Mo, Larry, or Curly, but we'll leave that for another
I don't know the
conversation.
difference. So,
But anyway, we actually have a topic today that when I saw it, it kind of blew my mind because
mm,
I knew that it was going to be you and me, and I
mm,
needed to find something that would be appropriate for the two of us. And so I was just kind of perusing Facebook, and I stumbled on this one post that a person posted today. Obviously, he's dealing with a lot of stuff, and you'll know why in a moment. But let me just read it first, and then let's see what you and I can do to kind of help this guy out. And I'll share with him, the link to this podcast so that he can play it back, and maybe it'll be of benefit to him.
yeah.
But I'll just say up front, I mean, this guy, I admire him. I kind of wonder what's going on
hmm
beyond what he's posting here. But there aren't many people. I can't remember the last time I saw somebody being this direct. And I think that's kind of what's catching me by surprise here.
I remember the exact post that was this direct, and it was, was it somebody? Somebody was someone's boyfriend or fiance or whoever was cheating on them, and they
Oh,
didn't. They wanted to keep them in their lives, but they didn't know how to go about it. And the comments,
hmm.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I can
Yeah.
just imagine. Yes.
But that's the last
So,
time I remember someone being that honest. Yeah.
well, we'll let our listeners decide
hmm
how close this is to that one. So
hmm
anyway, here's what he had to say. He says, "So I'm going through a season of confusion of who I am currently, and here are some truthful and ugly traits of my personality that I don't like about myself, and I need some help and tips in manifesting the better me." So the ugly and honest traits. Number one, I am a full-blown liar. I do it to get attention and to get my way. Heck, I even do it just to have something in common so the other person doesn't feel left out.
hmm
Number two, it's hard for me to be focused. I love to do different activities such as TikToks, writing songs, or short stories. I love to study marketing and many other corporate and business topics. It comes to a point where I just don't know what to focus on. Like, for example, I want to build a social media marketing agency, but I also want to become an actor and a songwriter. I just don't know where to put my focus on. Third, I'm not responsible from paying bills to following through a commitment. I'd rather just do me the way I like to, laying around eating Cheetos pretty much. Fourth, I'm shy around women. When it comes to making friends to hopefully go on a date, I go full blown chicken, lol. And I have many other disgusting traits that I hate about myself. He says, please don't discourage me by saying, whoops, and I just lost the feed here. Oh, here we go. Please don't discourage me by saying, once a liar, always a liar. I'm trying to break that. I just hate who I am. So, like, I mean, that's probably one of the most brutally honest posts I've ever seen.
hmm
And I shared it with you, and your reaction was wow. So let's go
Yeah.
into beyond wow. What was your what were you thinking about when you saw this?
I was like, well, first of all, I was like, okay, this is multi-layered. So many
Yeah.
things going on. And where do we start unpacking? So because I use the word unpacking, I'm going to say the first thing he needs to do is think about therapy. Because this
Mm-hmm.
is not well, I'm going to post this on Facebook, get all the answers I need. This is going to be years
Yeah.
of work. So that was my first thing. Second thing I thought of was, don't hate on yourself for laying on the couch and eating Cheetos. Everybody needs a self-care day. So you can take a couple of hours out of your day and lay on the couch and watch a movie and eat Cheetos. I wouldn't do it every day. I wouldn't do it
Right.
all day, but you take some time for yourself. What was the other thing? College is a good idea for someone who has a lot of things that they want to focus on but can't figure out how to combine them all into one thing. It sounds to me like all his things that he wants to do, he can combine them into one thing. He just got to
Yes,
figure
he
out
could.
how he can do that. It's all based on social media, basically, except, well, yeah, acting and songwriting and TikToking is all one thing now. So
That's true, especially
yeah,
in the COVID era. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So
that's
yeah,
true.
that's not hard to get into. But yeah, I would suggest therapy and college, and don't be so hard on yourself. Now the lying thing, hmm, that's I would say acknowledgement is the first step. You know you have a problem and you're admitting to it. So that's the first step in the right direction. And again, I suggest therapy because I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't think I can help you in that area.
That's a fair and honest answer to a fair and honest post. And
What were
I'll
your
add on to
thoughts?
that by saying I don't know what motivated him to post this,
Mm-hmm.
but if he really is coming clean about being a liar, I say good on him for doing that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not something that a habitual liar is willing to do most of the time. That's a pretty
Unless this is
rare
part
thing.
of their game, because I watch a lot of catfish, and this is how it starts.
That's also a possibility. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the real question isn't whether or not he is lying to us. The real question is he lying to himself?
Facts.
Because here's the thing. You can try to lie to yourself, but yourself knows better.
Yeah.
You just can't pull the wool over your own eyes. Try
Yeah.
as you might, you can't do it. There's always some piece of you that knows, yeah, yeah. I know you. Here's the real truth about what's going on here.
I had a
So,
lying problem when I was a kid. And let me tell you
did
how my
you?
mom snapped me out of it. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I forget what I had lied about, but this time I got caught. And she made me write the lyrics to this specific song called Dear Liar, and it was by TLC. And she made me write the lyrics out 5 times. So I had to listen to the song over and over and over again because this is before, you can Google the lyrics. This is when you had to
Right.
like listen, rewind, play, rewind, play. So I had to listen to the lyrics. So it's ingrained in my head what lying does to you and does to other people. And I was like, you
Hmm.
savvy heifer. Wow.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like
plus
12,
also
but yeah.
you were reprogramming your mind. You were kind of doing it under duress,
Yeah,
but
it
you were
makes you
reprogramming your
stop.
mind to think about it differently.
Yeah, it makes you stop and think, okay, what is the purpose of this lie? What is it going to get me? Is it going to, get me anything in the long run in a good way? And most of the time the answer is no. If not all the time, the answer is no. So yeah, that was how it worked for me.
And yet he makes the point. He says, I do it to get attention and to get my way. So, I mean, no matter how negative something is,
Hmm.
no matter how undesirable it is, there's always a payoff, isn't there?
Yeah, if
That's why
if
we
you
continue
really
to do
dig
it.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently he dug deep enough to realize he's self honest enough to say, I do it to get attention.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably what a lot of liars do it for,
Facts. Yeah.
you know? There are, I mean, my wife is a former psychotherapist, and I interview life coaches every single day practically on the show.
Hmm.
So I have some familiarity with the fact that people will do whatever it takes to get attention, even if it's negative.
Yeah.
If that's the only kind of attention they can get, they'll get it.
Yeah,
They'll do whatever it
exactly.
takes to get it. If it means
Hmm.
getting into trouble, they get into trouble.
And
It
that's
doesn't
usually
matter.
a trait that you see with a lot of people that are, I'm not going to say a lot of people. Okay, there are a very few people that are into acting, singing, songwriting, TikToks mainly, that are liars, and they just want to be in the center of things. They just want to be the center of attention. They just
Mhm.
want to be focused on. So they'll do whatever they can, any way, shape, or form to be in the light. That's what they'll do.
And I think it's fair to point out that I wouldn't want to put an exact percentage on it, but I'll just say the large majority of
Hmm.
songwriters who are really successful
Hmm.
come from really awful backgrounds.
Facts.
that's where they get their material from.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they're able to
Comedians
write
too.
songs, yeah, that so many people can relate to
Yeah,
because that's what they're drawing on. They're
yeah.
drawing on this guy. Oops, I'm sorry. I've got these new headphones, and they have a tendency to do what they want to do, including playing the theme music. So I'll just put that away for now.
You get the theme music twice today.
I haven't quite figured out how these things work yet. There are instructions. The instructions don't match the exact way that they operate, so I'll just have to
Oh, I
sit
hate
down
when
with
that
them and play.
happens.
It's tough when your headphones lie to you. It's just
See, it's not good for anybody when people
it's
lie.
not good for anybody, no.
No.
But getting back to our friend here, the fact that he acknowledges that this thing has been going on and that there's a payoff is a big deal, I think.
Hmm.
Um, Now, like you said, he could be catfishing. He could be trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, including
Yeah.
himself.
Hmm.
He's going to find, well, he probably already knows this, that pulling the wool over his own eyes doesn't work no matter what he tries to do.
I mean, it may work, but it works for like 5 seconds. And then, like, where's the joy in that? Would you rather have long-term joy or just 5 seconds of joy?
Good point. Yes, there is even then some payoff,
Yeah,
but it's a very meager payoff
it
compared to what you
is.
can
Yeah.
have through other means.
And then you got to do it
So
again and again and again. And it's like, now you
continuously.
web of lies.
We can even think of famous people who are liars, who lie all the time, and they've made a career out of it. And I think it's fair to say, if you really look at what goes on in their lives, are they really all that happy?
I know one specific celebrity who's not too happy right now, who's a pathological liar.
Well, I was trying to avoid going that direct, but yes, that is an excellent example. So, yeah, I mean, well, so there's goodness in the fact that he admits that he is a liar.
Hmm.
Is there also value in pointing out to him that there are good things he can get? And there it goes again. That good things that he can get that actually will contribute to his well-being by telling the truth. Because what we're talking about here is a payoff. So if he's going to replace lying, he needs to
Yeah.
replace it with something else that has an equal or better payoff. Otherwise, why bother to do it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This whole lying thing isn't going to get you anywhere with friends and women. I'll tell you that right now, because eventually everyone sees through you, and then no one will
Which
put up with you.
which was like item 4 on the list, so it kind of
Yeah,
connects together.
that's
Yeah.
what I was getting at. Yeah, and I'm like, if you're having trouble making friends and talking to women, starting off with a lie doesn't really get you going in the right direction.
Not really, no. No.
No, definitely doesn't.
Whereas if you start being honest,
Yeah.
well, there are a few things that are tied in there. And I think especially where an intimate relationship is concerned, but also with just where a regular friendship is concerned,
Hmm.
a true friend or a true friend slash lover
Hmm.
is someone with whom you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's what makes it such a good relationship. That's
Yeah.
what makes it so valuable. It's also what's scary about a relationship. I
Yeah.
mean,
It can be.
nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to go through getting, getting their sides ripped out because they trusted somebody and it didn't work out the way they hoped or expected it would work out.
Right.
But by the same token, there's no such thing as a great relationship that is not vulnerable.
Facts.
It just, they don't exist. I mean,
No.
anybody
Yeah.
out there who's ever created one, send an email to walt@loatoday.net and tell us about it, because we really want to hear about this first time only deal. But other than that,
A first time only deal. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. I give it 5 months.
5 months max. Yeah.
Yeah.
With me, it was more like 5 minutes, but that's another story.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, there is a definite value to telling the truth and to being
mhm.
vulnerable. That when you're telling truth to somebody, vulnerability goes along with that, because
Mhm.
now you're open to them criticizing you or being mean to you in some way or whatever. And that's scary. By
Yeah.
the same token, this is where the real value is. When you're vulnerable with somebody and that person treats your vulnerability with respect,
Mhm.
that's an entirely different feeling, an
Yeah, it
entirely
is.
different experience. And
Being
that's the thing I think we
understood.
tend to forget.
Yeah, being
Yeah.
understood is huge, huge thing for me. And that
Yeah.
was the one thing I found in Kenny, is that he understood me and still accepted me for who I was. And if I was lying about who I was, then that's surface. Like, how do you get past that? Like, how do you I don't I don't know. I don't know how if I was lying about something and then got found out later, like how do you move past that?
Well, you couldn't, I don't think. And the
Yeah.
reason is if you're lying about who you are, because that's essentially what that is,
Yeah.
lying about who you are, and he is being understanding of that person, that persona that you're putting out there,
That's not
well,
you.
that his understanding isn't going to connect with you.
Right. Right.
It'll connect with your persona, but the persona isn't you. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
won't experience it.
Yeah.
And
You
that's
don't
where all the joy is.
hmm
It's in that experience of the understanding of
Yeah.
and not just understanding, of acceptance, of
Yeah.
love,
hmm
of appreciation, you know? It's being appreciated for it's like with an actors. Actors love playing roles and they love being appreciated for their acting role, but they don't like being appreciated for being the character.
Oh no, you see actors all the time that get called by their characters' names when they're in the street. They hate that.
They hate that. What they want to be appreciated for is that they were able to portray the character,
Yes.
not
Thank
for
you for my
being the character.
skills, but this is my
Yeah,
real name.
that's right. And I have a real personality and so forth.
hmm
I mean, just as now, this is an example most listeners won't know about. It's from a UK television program that Louise and I had been into for years called As Time Goes By, starring
hmm
Judi Dench, Dame
hmm
Judi Dench. And her co-star was an actor named Jeffrey Palmer, who just passed a few days ago.
Oh wow.
And one of the things that he was 93 years old. He'd had a good
Oh,
life
all right
and
then.
all that. But one of the things Judy commented about Jeffrey was that the television series was a comedy, and he
hmm
was a deadpan comic. He could just deliver any line just totally deadpan, and he was brilliant at it.
hmm
So the character he played was a curmudgeon that would be perfect for somebody who deadpans, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And she says that's not at all who he was. On the set, he was playful. He was like a prankster. He was always trying to get everybody else laughing and so forth until it came time to play the role. And then he fell into the curmudgeon role.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He wanted to be appreciated for his ability to play the role, not for being the role. If he had been appreciated for being Lionel Hardcastle, which was the name of that character, he would have
Yeah.
hated that part
Right.
because that wasn't
Maybe
him.
that's something he could do. Is if he likes acting, then that's a way to be a liar, but like on as a hobby. You know what I mean? Like you're not that's
It's a
not
good
your
point.
life. That's not your life, but that's your job. You could do
That's
that.
right.
That way you get that part of you out and you can be the real you in real life.
Now, an important piece of that is you actually have to be the real you in real life, otherwise it
Yeah.
won't work.
Yeah. You can't be lying at work and at home.
No, that won't do it. That
No.
won't cut the mustard at all.
No.
But if you're willing to make the effort and take the steps to become a truth teller in your real
hmm
life, oh God, I mean, isn't that the best kind of role for an actor?
Yeah.
The role of the bad guy? Because then
Yeah.
they get to be the bad guy with all the negative consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they like it for so much. So that becomes kind of an out, kind of a way to let go and release all that stuff.
Facts.
So, all right, well, there's a few ideas for him. Let's look at the second thing that he talked about. He said this is where he was listing some of the things that he enjoyed doing. He liked doing TikToks, writing songs, short stories, marketing, corporate and business topics. Um, he wanted to be an actor, songwriter, social media marketing agency he wanted to build. So he has a lot of these interests there. He says he can't focus on any of them. And I wanted to bring that point up. What is it do you think might be blocking him from his focus? I can think of a couple things, but I thought I'd ask you first.
I think he's got too many things that he wants to focus on. He needs to pick one at a time or find a way to combine all five of them or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly he needs to be able to focus, and he says
Yeah.
so. He says it's hard for him to focus. So choosing is
Well,
certainly a good idea.
I think scheduling scheduling is a good idea and
Mm.
creating a schedule for every day, even including your Cheeto hour. I would schedule some time for songwriting, schedule some time to do TikTok, schedule some time, do everything you want to do that day. And then eventually you're going to weed out what you don't like and what you do like. And then you'll be able to focus on that.
Yeah, that's along the lines of what I had in mind too.
hmm
Because I think what happens is when we're presenting to ourselves, a list of things that we like and we aren't sure where to focus our attention or what to turn it into our career or whatever, it's because we never really tried any of them out very much.
Yeah.
We got to try them out,
Also, what
even
are
if
you
it's
good at?
for a short term. Well, even before what you're good at. I mean, I pursued a career that I was good at, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, it's got to be both. You got to be
It's
good
got
at
to
it
be
and
both.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, but even if it's not something that you're good at, it's really, I think it's absolutely essential that it be something that you like.
Yes.
Whether you're good at it or not almost doesn't even matter, in my opinion, just because even if you're not good at it, you'll learn.
True.
Just your passion is going to just carry you through and you'll learn over time. That's part of the
Okay, then
reason.
passion is what I wanted to go with, not good at.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
passion is really the important thing.
Hmm.
But even more than that, just by trying things out, you can start editing the list. And by
Yes.
editing, I don't mean just removing stuff from the list. I mean adding stuff to the list too.
Yeah,
Because
because you
right
never
when you
know
try,
what
like,
can lead to what.
right, so you try TikToks for a while, and
Hmm.
you thought they were really going to be fun, but you find they're really boring. But you like videos. You like making the
Yeah.
videos. You just don't want to be posting them on TikTok all the time and limiting them to a minute because that's just too
Yeah.
limiting for you.
Hmm.
So you find stuff out like that, and you add videos making to the list and take TikToking off the list or whatever. But the
Right.
point is, you work your way through stuff and you discover new ideas.
Hmm.
And that's really to me, that's one of the biggest parts of the creative process is simply trying things out. I think
Yeah.
probably the biggest waste of time I engaged in for years in my life was just sitting back and trying to figure out what I would like.
Hmm.
You can't figure it out. You got to try it.
You got to try it out.
If you can't try it, you can't figure it out. You don't have enough data. You can never get enough data
Facts.
because the only data that counts is the one that you experience. There's no other.
That's why we're here.
That's right. We're here to live it, to do
Yep.
it, to enjoy it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think we're on the same page there. He just needs to try some stuff out. Like you pointed out, some of those are very easily combined together.
Yep.
But you don't have to. It's not like you
Yep.
have to combine them together.
Well, that's why
Mainly
I
it's just
suggested
try
college,
some.
because I'm like, you can have like 75 different classes if you wanted to,
True. Well, I'm
and
not
then
sure about
all,
75.
well,
That's a pretty
not
busy schedule.
literally, but that's a lot of credits. You
No, I
graduate about
take
4 times with those.
75 classes a day and then I have lunch.
It's Cheeto hour.
Cheeto hour, right?
That's where you
Uh,
decompress.
Now, of course, he could conceivably have a problem where college is concerned because his third point is he's not responsible, and that includes paying the bills.
Hmm.
It
Is
also
he
means
responsible
following through
enough
on
to get
commitments.
someone who is responsible enough to do that?
So get a buddy
Sometimes you need
system
to
going.
hand your wallet over and just say, could you
Mm-hmm.
do this for me?
Interesting idea. Yeah.
Or they have like a million apps that'll do it for you too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's even the funny ones that tell you, okay, you spent too much at Blockbuster today. That's enough. Didn't you have enough coffee? Yeah, I like those.
It also occurs to me that there's a common factor to all these. Now we haven't even done the fourth one yet. Well, let's bring the fourth one in, and then I'll go
Okay.
into what I think is the common factor. The fourth one, I'm shy around women. When it comes to making friends, to hopefully going on a date, I go full blown chicken, and he laughs at that. So that you kind of addressed that one before.
Well, that's
Was
because
there
he's a
anything more you want
fraud.
to add to that?
Bottom
Talk
line.
about that.
Well, he's fake. So he can't, if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be a real person. Therefore, you're going to be shy and awkward around other people because you're waiting for them to engage in the conversation so you can make yourself part of what they're talking about. But in reality, you have to bring something to the table. So if you're not doing that, then you're not going to enjoy the conversation, which makes it awkward, which is why you're shy.
I'd say that's well described, and he actually summarizes it very nicely in his last sentence in the post.
Hmm.
After he says, I have many other traits that he describes as disgusting, and he puts in his disclaimer, don't tell me once a liar, always a liar. He says, I'm trying to break that habit, but I just hate who I am. That's the bottom line.
Well,
The
yeah,
person
that's
he's
what you
describing is
expect.
somebody, yeah, that's somebody who has a really massive problem with his own
Hmm.
self-esteem.
Yes.
And it's going to be true regardless of whether he's catfishing us or not.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about it. It becomes a very easy solution to
Yeah.
look at that first.
Yeah. You got
So
to
maybe
start
we
with
should
your
start
last.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the beginning point.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of different ways. We've talked about many of them here on the show. A lot
Hmm.
of different ways to go about, improving self-esteem.
Hmm.
Um, I think in the case of somebody like him who knows he's already identified some of his blocks, some of his resistance points, that puts him well ahead of many people who are trying to self-diagnose, trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to improve their lives and so forth. So he gets credit for that. Um, so once you have some ideas about that, well, the next step is what can you do in order to appreciate yourself more?
Hmm.
We had Debbie Garcia on the show on Tuesday, a friend of Daniel's and mine, that we
Okay.
met through the David Strickle workshop from a
Oh.
few Saturdays ago,
Hmm.
and she was she was basically giving us some really cool input on. Well, first of all, she was telling her story, which is it's one of those down in the pits, climb back up stories that are very very inspiring.
Cinderella stories.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Hmm.
Although in this case, Cinderella basically ended up homeless, so not
Yeah.
quite Cinderella, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she had no
um,
shoes and her pumpkin turned.
yeah, well, the pumpkin turned into a beach. That's where they were
Nice.
living. They were living on a beach, yeah.
Well, Cinderella did get a castle in the end, so you know.
This is true, and she has her own castle now. She has her own three-story condo, so
Nice.
yeah, she's had a big turnaround, and a lot of it she attributes to what David Strickle and the TYA boot camp taught her. But anyway, among the things that we were talking about on Tuesday was the importance of building yourself up, of
Yeah.
focusing on gratitude. Gratitude for her was a really, really big deal.
Hmm.
And we usually think about gratitude in terms of being grateful for stuff outside of ourselves. But that's only a half of it. The other half is
Yeah.
being grateful for ourselves, appreciating ourselves.
Hmm.
Because that's really the foundation of self esteem, of feeling good about yourself, loving
Yeah.
yourself, really.
Hmm.
Um, he says very clearly he hates himself. Well, okay, now you know what you got to work on. That's probably, like you said, it's number one. It's job one is working on
Hmm.
that. And it begins with being grateful and appreciative. So, how do you do that? Well, why not just start with the things that you can appreciate that you know about? You already have
Yes.
mentioned a few of them. He says that he loves studying marketing and many other corporate and business topics. Okay, so you have something you can appreciate about yourself,
Hmm.
something that you're presumably fairly good at because you have such an interest in it.
Yeah.
Um, he likes acting and songwriting. Okay, well, there's something else to appreciate about
Yeah.
yourself. He probably has already written some stuff that he can sing, or that he's presented for other people to sing. He's probably done a little acting, and so he has some sense of what he can do there. So he has things, skills, activities, events that he's been able to experience that tell him, "Hey, here's my good side.
Yeah.
Here's what I bring to the table." And that's a
Exactly.
starting point. So and I think really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a new pattern started, right?
Right. Hmm.
Because the more that we tell that old story about how I'm such a liar and I'm a cheater and I'm irresponsible and I'm a horrible person to be around, the more we're going to get all kinds of ideas about how to tell ourselves and how to tell everybody else that I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, irresponsible, I lay around eating Cheetos all day. I mean, we can just keep
Yeah. You
making that
don't need to
story up and
come with
over
a
and over again.
disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just why not just change the story?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, if you were him and you were in that place, where would you begin? Knowing your own life, let's just put it into your own life. If you had been that person, because you kind of said earlier you dealt with a lying problem younger in your younger age. What did you
Hmm.
do? Where did you start appreciating yourself?
Um. Hmm. Where did I start appreciating myself?
I
I
asked you
I
first.
think I started with the fact that no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm a great friend.
Hmm. Elaborate on that. What does that mean that you're a great friend?
People come to me for advice. I always give honest answers, whether you want to hear it or not. And people know that about me, so that's why they still come to me. And I'll still be there for you, whether no matter which way you take the advice.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
In fact, that's probably something he can latch onto fairly easily. Because if you
Hmm.
can go into a public social media forum and admit I'm a full blown liar,
Yeah.
probably means you don't have a whole lot of difficulty with being direct,
Yep.
which is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You just said it.
exactly.
I'll give you the honest truth. You may not like it, but I'll give you the honest
Hmm.
truth. Well,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Having that kind of honesty, that kind of directness. I mean, he probably will need in some way to learn to mute the bluntness a little bit, just because blunt can be a little bit hard for people. But
Mm-hmm.
he'll learn that because he'll get the feedback, he'll get the
Yeah.
input, you know. But the
That
point
was
is, he's
another
got
thing
that
that
ability.
really got to me was when he said, oh, what part was it? He said something about I lie to make the other person feel included or feel better or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. He said just that. He said, I even do it just to have something in common, so the other person doesn't feel left out.
Yeah. Um, Other people's feelings don't matter when it comes to lying because you're not it's confusing to me. It doesn't make sense. How you're lying to make someone else feel better. Sugarcoating, I understand, kind of, sort of. I don't do it, but I kind of, sort of understand it. But full out lying just to make someone else feel better, it's not good for either person in the conversation. So you're wasting time.
It occurs to me that someone who is as direct and blunt as he apparently is, and kind of similar to you in this sense,
Mm-hmm.
is someone who probably would not appreciate or perhaps even notice fine distinctions in degrees of lying,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, that's
So,
me. I'm like sugarcoating and lying is the same thing to me. So
exactly,
I'm
exactly.
like,
And
it's a
and
waste of time at the end of the day.
honestly, it is. I mean, that's why they call certain kinds of lies little white lies, right? It's a way of
Yeah,
trying to soften them to make them a little bit better. They're still
but
lies.
that's a gateway lie. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's a way, but it's also a way of justifying the lie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can conceive and concoct situations, I'm sure many people could, where you can kind of justify lying. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's possible to do that. I think what I'm wanting to point to is that it's not about perfection here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about always telling the truth
Right.
as opposed to always lying. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about that. Because as Daniel has pointed out to us numerous times, it's almost impossible to make the gigantic leap from where you are to where you want to be if those two things are diametrically opposite to each other.
Yeah.
You have to
There's no
kind of get there
miracle
in
way
microsteps.
out of this. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a long road, no matter which way you go.
which means you have to take steps,
Yes, you
one
gotta make a
step at a
shift.
time. Yeah, you don't try to take one giant leap to get from beginning to end. You take steps, as Daniel calls them, micro shifts or micro
Yep.
steps, and you just take them one step at a time at whatever
Mm-hmm.
pace you can take them in order to get to your destination. Well, in this case, the destination is being a truth teller.
Yep.
Okay. Well, just start telling the truth more often.
Also, to help with this lying thing, um, back when I did have my lying problem, someone had told me that it takes 14 or 21 days to break a habit. So
Mm-hmm.
if you continuously do something for 21 days or continuously stop doing something for 21 days, eventually that'll just go into your programming and that'll become your new habit. So you could try that.
And I think there's a good idea behind that, because what you're basically talking about is repeating the same new behavior over and over again in order to embed it, to kind of
Yes.
imprint it on the subconscious mind so it's always there to draw
Mm-hmm.
upon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's valid. The other thing that I would remind also is, along the way, don't beat yourself up if you slip,
Yes, that is huge.
because that's so easy to do, especially if you're a chronic liar.
Yeah.
It's going to be very easy to slip into lying again, and then, oh, I did it again, and you're beating yourself up all over the place. Don't beat
Yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah.
Instead, focus attention on rewarding yourself every time you tell the truth.
Yeah. Just refocus. It's like
Yeah.
when you're on your diet and it's like, oh no, I had a couple extra calories. Okay, well, don't wash the whole day or the whole week and say diet starts Monday. Just have a glass of water and start over.
You don't even have to start over. You can start with where you were. What happened before you had the extra calories? Well, you actually had a good breakfast.
Yeah.
So how about applauding yourself for having a good breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
now
so
you're
you
on the topic
messed up
of
on
what
a
you
snack, but
prefer.
have a good lunch.
Yeah. Okay. So, you didn't do what you wanted to do. You didn't hit your goal with, the lunch. That's all right. You got the breakfast right. Let's go for the dinner.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do an afternoon snack, go for the snack, being, I don't know what, a cup of yogurt instead of the Cheetos or whatever it is.
The Cheetos.
But the
Yeah.
point is, instead of beating ourselves up, Look for every single time that we did something right and appreciate it.
Yes.
Because the more that we do that, the more familiar our subconscious minds become to the idea that we're doing things right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we're telling the truth. I mean, if it's about truth telling, every time you tell someone the truth, give yourself a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
I just told the truth. Hooray.
But
And
don't
do it every
expect other
time.
people to give you credit, because that's where the self-esteem comes in.
That's right. Yes. This is not about getting somebody else to tell you you did a good job. This is about
Yeah.
getting you to tell
Yeah.
you
You
that you
give yourself
did a good
your own
job.
kudos.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. It's a great point because often we'll kind of turn that around and look for somebody else to give us the feedback, and that's not the place to look for it.
That's a
In
lot
fact,
of
that's
things
where
that my friends are going through now, is leaning on other people for their self-esteem. And it's like, but it's self-esteem. It's the
they
esteem
call it
of
that for a reason.
yourself.
Right. Exactly. That's why they call it self-esteem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mirror exercises are good for that.
Yep.
If you're an actor, mirror exercises are great
And fun.
and fun. And if you're not familiar with what a mirror exercise is, you do it every day. You get in front of a mirror and you start telling yourself all the reasons why you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, all the things that you're doing right, all the reasons why you like the certain things that you've done during the day. You skip over the stuff that you didn't like. You just focus on the stuff that you do like,
Yep.
and you just keep reinforcing yourself in front of that mirror, looking yourself in the mirror every single day. And as an actor, that's easy. Actors know how to fake it till they make it.
Exactly.
Now, you don't want to fake it until you fake it. That's a conversation Dan and I were having the other day. People just get stuck in the faking it mode, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not about always being the
I think
actor.
that's
It's
where he's
about
stuck now,
getting
is that's the
yourself.
problem.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We don't want to be stuck in the fake it mode, but using it as a step toward telling the truth about ourselves and to getting to the point where we really are appreciating ourselves. That's great. That
Yes.
makes it so much that puts you like 5 steps ahead of everybody else who's doing mirror exercises for the first time.
True.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, for me, I'm not an actor, and let me tell you, the first time I did the mirror exercise was terrifying.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird.
It's
I think I
weird
told you
unless
this.
you make it an acting exercise, and then it's like, oh, okay, so I can be fake right now. But
Right,
that's okay.
exactly.
Yeah. It's not as weird when it's something. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not. It's when it's an acting exercise. It's like it's for another reason. So it's not as weird as like. I think the mirror exercises. You have to be totally honest with yourself, and that
Yeah.
makes it awkward. Because if
Well,
you're doing it for the first time.
plus you're looking in the mirror and you're looking into your own eyes, and you can see what's really going on there.
Yeah.
You can't fool yourself. You
No.
can't fool yourself as to what's going on. You can try
Yeah.
all you want to, but it's just
Mhm.
you're just going to mess yourself up in the process.
Yeah.
Because even then, your subconscious mind is saying, "Yeah, I know who you really are."
Yeah. And take note too, if you're not looking yourself in the eyes, why?
Yes. Yes. Critically important. You got to look yourself in the eyes. I
Hmm.
mean, like I was saying, the first day that I did it, I didn't have the acting background. So for me, it was literally 3 seconds. I looked in
Yeah.
the mirror and I love you. I said, "Oh, I can't do this." And I walked away. That was day one.
Yeah.
Day two, I was able to double that time to 6 seconds.
Yeah. Nice. It's all about doubling the time.
And somewhere in there, I think I may have started doing some acting just as a defense mechanism so I could keep doing it every day because it's
Mhm.
really important to keep going. The biggest thing that will trip everybody up is to stop doing it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that will kill any 21-day program or 30-day program or whatever
Hmm.
it is you stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's probably I think I will dare to say it is the only reason why programs fail.
I
You think
agree.
that's overstating it? I think
No,
it's
I
really it.
totally agree.
Yeah. You just have to commit to do it every single day, no matter what.
Yep.
Even if it was just for 3 seconds, at least you did it.
Eventually you'll get to a full minute.
You do.
Hmm.
And the funny part was the first day that I reached a minute, it was about, I would say 6 or 7 days into it.
Hmm.
And after that minute, I was wiped. I had to go back to bed. The day was shot.
Oh no.
But it showed how much work, how much effort I was putting
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
really making it happen, really doing it. And it really paid dividends for me. Um, the reason I got into doing it in the first place was I had heard about Jack Canfield, the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series of
Oh,
books,
okay.
who
Yep.
was also in the movie The Secret.
Hmm.
And he had written an article in which he said that he used the mirror exercise technique as a way to shut up all those voices that kept playing in the head.
Yep.
And I had plenty of those playing, and I was sick to death of them. And I said, you know what? If that gets rid of them, I'm willing to try.
Right.
And 21 days in, they were a little quieter.
Hmm.
They hadn't gone away,
Yep.
but they were a little quieter. 30 days in, they were almost gone.
Nice.
And to this day, I mean, every once in a while, they'll start to creep up on me, and I'll just do some mirror exercises and they go away.
Yeah.
So most of the time, my mind is just quiet. I don't even have to meditate, it just gets quiet. I
Well,
like
that's
that.
always nice. I take
It's
medication for
really
that, but
nice.
that's just my theory.
Well, I like doing it the non-med approach. So,
Yeah.
that's just me.
I think the combination of the two works.
Certainly, just because you're on meds doesn't mean you can't do the non-med approach too.
Right.
I mean, there's no
My
indication on the
mirror
label.
exercises are way different though. Like my mirror exercises are just me gassing myself up in the mirror. So
Like what?
okay, for instance, today I put on a pair of jeans that I never thought would fit and they fit today. So I'm walking by the mirror and I was like, okay, I see you. Look at you go. Look at you in
Love
your
it.
size 12 today. All right. And these are my mirror exercises.
All right. Hey, that qualifies because still what you're doing is you're appreciating yourself.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter how you do it. What matters is that you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're in agreement. Mirror exercises are very useful, and maybe that'll help this guy out too. Maybe he'll decide to give them a shot because he
I'm
does
sure that's
seem
something his therapist would tell him to do,
probably. Yeah.
along with journaling. A lot of therapists do tell you to journal. I don't do it, but I heard it helps.
Have you ever tried it?
Journaling for me is like meditation. I can't do it. I can't concentrate.
Making love to yourself in the mirror is so much easier, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I don't know. I feel like there's like a certain time lock, even though there isn't, but I feel like there should be. And I'm just like, well, I've only been doing this for 5 minutes. I only have like three sentences. This is not enough, even though you got to start somewhere. But you get down on yourself and you're like, this isn't enough. This isn't working, blah, blah, blah. And then it snowballs into forget it.
But I want to point out that just because mirror exercises worked for us and journaling didn't work for you doesn't mean that's what's going to work for him.
That's true. The opposite could be totally true.
It could be just the opposite. The
Mm-hmm.
main thing is it isn't one particular process, one particular
Yeah,
method that's the magic formula. The
exactly.
one that's the magic formula is the one that you tried after trying a bunch of them and you find that one works. That's the magic formula.
Exactly.
Yeah. So use the ones that we're talking about here, try them out. If they don't work, try some others. I mean, if you are running out of ideas, ask for help on Facebook. I guarantee you'll get about 500 different suggestions.
Where was this post? Because I want to read the comments.
Actually, there weren't that many comments.
Well, how long ago was it posted?
I'm going to say half a day ago.
Oh, wow. And not that many
Yeah,
comments, really?
yeah,
Because people on Facebook live for this kind of stuff.
they do. Yeah,
It's like someone
I,
needs my advice right now. Oh, let me get my Twitter fingers.
I don't know what. I'll tell you what. When someone comes out with actual details about what they're dealing with,
Hmm.
I find that's when the comments start to dry up. It's when they just post a general request for help without giving you a whole lot of information. That's where they'll get 500 different
Oh yeah,
suggestions.
most definitely. Because people are
Yeah.
getting nosy and they gotta know what the situation is before they dish out their advice.
Well, no, actually, they don't even wait for that. They just start dishing advice because they figure everybody else's problems must be identical to their own. So
Fact,
they just draw on
fact.
their own knowledge. It's very simple, right?
Foreshadowing into my own life.
Exactly. Oh, that reminds me. Let me do this thing with you that Debbie G did with us. She was the guest on Tuesday. This is a
Okay.
great little routine. So I want you to come up with just the first 5 words that come to your mind that describe me from your perspective.
Oh wow. Okay. Hold 5 words. Hold on. I gotta keep track. So do I say them out loud?
Yep.
Okay. Knowledgeable, kind, uh, understanding, um, soft, and hmm, what's the word for? I don't know a fifth one.
Well, come up with a fifth one. Just first thing
Okay.
that comes to mind.
Adventurous.
Okay. And what Debbie points out is all five of those words you came up with describe you perfectly.
What? No.
It's a way of recognizing that the world is our mirror. And
Good.
so the things that you're appreciating in me are things that you're actually appreciating in yourself.
No, I'm not adventurous at all. Cut it out. No. I would say all the other four, yes. For number
Not the
five, no.
adventurous.
No. Although I do like sushi. People call me adventurous for liking sushi.
You're talking yourself into it. I can see it.
Yeah, I am. I am. Because it just blew my mind. So I got to catch up for a second.
Right, right. Well, it does blow your mind when you first hear
I'm
that.
going to try this on people. I like this.
Isn't that cool? I
Yeah.
really like it a lot. Talk about a way to do self-esteem building.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. So to our friend on Facebook, try that with somebody you know.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to tell them that you're going to do it. Just pick somebody you know and identify five things that you appreciate
hmm
about them.
hmm
And what you'll find is that very likely those are characteristics that can be appreciated about you.
I would write them down too. So that way you can go back to it and remember.
That's a good idea.
And
Yeah.
maybe if you write them down and then you can make that part of your mirror exercises, being grateful for those traits.
And for those who might be confused about how this could possibly work, whenever we come up with something that we appreciate about somebody else, what we're really saying is because I appreciate it, it's something I value.
Yeah.
If it's something I value, it's because it's part of me.
Yeah.
It's really not possible to value something that's not part of you.
Right.
It's in some way it's got to be part of you, otherwise you can't value it. I mean, isn't that the problem that people run into when they say, well, I've never had $1 million. How do I imagine myself having $1 million? That's why they
You haven't
have
had a
trouble
million
valuing it.
dollars yet.
It's not part of their life yet.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to connect it in. That's basically the issue. But when we're asked to come up with something about
Mhm.
somebody else that's positive, we always draw upon ourselves for that information. That's how we come up with the ideas. So you really were, even the adventurous part, you were actually drawing upon yourself there. But like you pointed out, you had to kind of sit with it and ask yourself, how am I
Yeah, I had to let it
adventurous?
marinate for a second.
Yeah. And by the way, you'll also notice that when you came up with adventurous, that's the one I kind of pushed you on. You just kind of came up with it.
Yeah.
So that one was a little bit harder for you, but you were still able to get there.
hmm
And the same thing was
Sneaky.
true once you realized it
Sneaky
was a
is number
mirror.
6.
That's right. It is.
It is.
But it's a good kind of sneaky.
It is a good kind of sneaky.
Yeah. Tell me what when you've tried that on people you know. Tell me what kind of responses you get. I'm going to do the same
I
thing.
am. I'm gonna like record this and write this down. I'm gonna make this a TikTok actually.
A TikTok. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
I've
you get
seen
all
so
kinds of
many
responses.
TikToks that I want to do on Kenny, but I'm like, how do I get away with holding the camera in his face and asking him questions?
Well, that's the beauty of something like this one. You actually don't have to involve somebody else. You can just do it yourself. You
Yeah,
can make a TikTok recording of yourself doing this.
true.
And,
That's
and
true.
then kind of reveal at the end what you were really doing.
hmm
It has the same impact. It has the same value. So
I like it. I like it.
yeah. So okay. Well, I think we've done just about everything. Have we talked about everything? Oh, well, we didn't really talk about the relationships part. We kind of touched on that a bit. But what are some of the things we can suggest for him in terms of obviously he wants to be able to tell the truth when he's trying to build a relationship with a woman or when he's just trying to make friends. But shyness is going to go beyond lying and truth telling, I think.
Well, I posed this question to you. How did you get out of your shyness? Because you were shy.
I was very shy. And I know you were too at one point in your life. And
No.
shyness Oh, you weren't? I thought you said
No,
when you were very young.
no.
No? Oh, then okay.
That was the
Take
other
all that
black
back.
chick.
I withdraw that comment.
That is the one thing I was not.
You were not shy. Okay. Then I misremembered, but that's all right. What did I do? I literally pushed myself to try things,
Hmm.
which goes back to what we were talking about earlier about, finding things to focus on.
Yeah.
I just tried things, and it took me a long time to try them because I didn't really understand this conscious creator stuff. I had not been exposed to any of it.
Hmm.
I had my life would have been quite different from what it turned out to be.
Hmm.
Um, Not that I don't value what I did have because I learned a lot from it, but what I did do right is that when I finally kind of worked up the courage to try something new,
Hmm.
which would take weeks, I'm not kidding, it would take weeks to
Hmm.
do that. I it would be kind of like riding a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It would be both exciting and scary at the same time.
Hmm.
And a lot of them were false starts.
Hmm.
I tried to go do it and then I'd run away from it before I even got started. But eventually I would find one that I would do a little bit beyond the false start. I would, try something for more than 5 minutes
Hmm.
and actually, push beyond that, what they call the comfort zone, what I call the familiar zone,
Hmm.
into that unknown territory that I'd not been a part of.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
The one that really broke through for me was I decided I was involved in a singles group. It was
Hmm.
a very large one in Westport, Connecticut.
Hmm.
About 2,000 to 2,500 members to this group. Really, really big group.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was a whole story that goes with it. I won't go into the story. It's very convoluted. But I came out at the other end of this really it was like a nightmare scenario. I came out at the end of the other end of the nightmare scenario, and I wanted to do something to kind of shake my life up because I didn't like what was going on with my life at that point. I knew I had to do something to because what was there I didn't like. What was going
Hmm.
on I didn't like. And somebody came into this group and gave a demonstration swing dance lesson. And I
Ah.
thought, "Oh, that looks kind of fun. I
Hmm.
wonder if I could learn to do that." And so I ended up signing up for the lessons that this guy was offering and found I really liked it.
Hmm.
In fact, I liked it so much I kept going back. That was such new behavior for me. I can't begin to
Yeah.
describe how new that behavior was. And it actually became a passion
Hmm.
very, very quickly.
Hmm.
I ended up taking lessons every single week for like 3, 4 years straight.
Wow.
Just because I was enjoying it so much. And of course, you got
Hmm.
to go to dances and you were trying things out. And
Yeah.
by the way, I was meeting women. I was making friends. All
Hmm.
these things that I had not been doing before, I was doing because I had finally found something that I was willing to kind of push past my boundaries and do because it felt good. I really
Nice.
liked it.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. And for the first time, I was not only appreciating myself, of course, that's where it all started.
Hmm.
I was also being appreciated because
Hmm.
when I went into it, I went in with the idea, okay, I'm going to really learn how to do this well. I mean, if I'm going to do this thing that I'm scared to death of, I'm going to learn how to do it well.
Yeah.
And
Go hard or go home.
as the male, my role is to be the leader because usually males are the leaders in these partner dance type things.
Yeah.
So I was going to be a great leader.
Hmm.
Well, I did become a great leader, and all of a sudden I had all these dance partners because when you're a great leader, they find you.
Yeah.
Which was a really nice new experience.
Yeah. That's gotta feel good.
It felt really good. Yeah. And so, of course, I just kept getting better and better because I was liking that. That was
Hmm.
really, really nice.
Yeah.
Now, irony of ironies, I never actually met my wife through the dance community. I thought I was going to. And I was involved
Oh.
in dance for I thought I was going to do it. I mean, I was there for like 10 years doing swing dancing.
Hmm.
Uh, what did happen is a friend of mine, one of my dance partners in the community, introduced me to my
Hmm.
wife
Hmm.
because she was a psychotherapist and she knew this other psychotherapist who turned out to be Louise and
Right.
um, suggested that the two of us connect together. And there's a whole story attached to that. So, my point being, if I had gone into it, and part of the time I was into it hoping I'd meet somebody,
Yeah.
um, but I had to let go of that
Right.
because pretty quickly I ran into the realization that if I go into it trying to meet somebody, I'm losing the joy of the activity.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to continue to get that joy that I was getting, and this was wonderful joy for me,
Yeah.
I had to let go of meeting that special person
Mm-hmm.
through the dance community. And I did let go of it, and I ended up having a wonderful experience for that 10-year period as a result. So,
Nice.
yeah. So that's how that's my breakthrough story. That's how I broke through the shyness. But I think it's going to be different for every person. I think what it really comes down to is the commonality is finding what you like by trying things out.
I have an idea
What's that?
for this person. Improv class.
Oh, because he likes acting.
Because he likes acting, he likes being engaged, he gets to lie for a little bit, he he
Yeah,
gets
that's
to meet
true.
other people. It's a win-win-win.
That's an interesting
I
idea.
don't know how that would work during COVID. I have seen some improv classes on Zoom, but
Oh, sure. Everything's
yeah,
being done on Zoom or
yeah,
Skype or one of those FaceTimes, any of them.
something.
Yeah. Oh, all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you can't find it, it's just because you didn't look hard enough.
you definitely
That's
didn't
all.
look hard enough.
It's out there,
Yeah.
guaranteed. Yeah. That's a good idea. Improv would be perfect for somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking earlier about the importance of building up your own self-esteem, but if you do improv, it's kind of like with the dance. For me, with the swing dancing, I wasn't really looking for the swing dancing to build my self-esteem up,
But it
but it
did.
built my self-esteem up.
Yeah,
It did.
that's why I
Yeah.
suggested it. Yeah,
Yeah. Now I had to be working on myself first, which I was doing.
right.
I was
Yep,
doing it kind of haphazardly. I didn't have the kind of information that we have now,
right.
but within my limits, I was doing what I could to take little steps, and it was enough.
Yeah.
It was enough that when I started getting the nice feedback from my dance partners, oh my goodness, did that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
It felt really, really good. So yeah, yeah, improv would probably be a good idea for him.
I think
Very
so.
good idea.
Yeah,
And they're all over the place, aren't they? I mean, it's not like you
all
have
over
to
the
dig
place.
really hard
All over
for
the
them.
place. Depending on where you live, you can't throw a rock without hitting one. But then there
And
are
let's say
some
he
obscure
let's say he lives
places.
in the sticks, though. If he's in the sticks, I mean, he can still go online.
Yeah, you can go online, especially now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even let where you live be a factor.
Or maybe even start your own.
Oh, there's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Start a Facebook group or
Yeah,
start, a
exactly.
social media group of some kind, a
Well,
LinkedIn group.
now they have Facebook. What is it called? It's I forget what it's called, but you can ask your friends to join in. It's basically like Zoom, but it's on Facebook, and you can do
Okay.
that. So I would just be like, hey, do you guys want to do a Facebook meetings? That's what it is. Facebook meetings.
Ah,
You
yes,
guys
okay.
want to do a Facebook meeting and throw some things out there and see what we come up with?
Very cool. I like this. All right. Well, I think we've given him a lot to work with. I want to make sure I remind people who might be listening for the first time that LOA Today has an app that you want to download. It's available for both the Android and for the iPhone. Just
Yep.
go to the Play Store on the Android, go to the App Store on the iPhone, do a search for LOA Today, download it. It has the 25 most recent episodes and it constantly updates. And it also has a goodies page where we've got all kinds of freebies from our co hosts, many of whom are life coaches and energy coaches and so forth. And they're giving you all this great stuff on how to attract money and how to get that right relationship and how to have a high vibe life and all this other kind of stuff. Some meditation stuff, really, really good stuff on there. So download and enjoy the LOA Today app. And share the fact that you're doing it as well, because that makes a difference too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've kind of run to the end, but thank you for doing this exercise with me. Hopefully it was helpful to our friend, and I'll be seeing you in about a week,
Yep.
give or take. And thank you to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody. Whoops, you got to play the music. Come on, play the music. Here we go.
Plus the music button. Try tapping your headphones.
Yes, there it is.